endorsements, there was a man who made the world fall in love with football all over again. His name was Ronaldo de Assis Moreira, but the world called him simply Ronaldinho. He didn't play football. He danced with it. Every touch, every flick, every dribble carried rhythm, joy, and magic. When he smiled, millions smiled. When he played, the world watched, not for tactics or trophies, but for beauty. But behind that smile, behind that samba rhythm, there was also a story of heartbreak, loss, and redemption. This is not just a football story. This is the rise, fall, and resurrection of the man who made football smile again. Chapter 1. The Streets of Porto Alegre. In the southern Brazilian city of Porto Alegre, life wasn't easy. Concrete houses, narrow streets, and the constant sound of kids kicking makeshift footballs made from rolled-up socks. It was there, on those dusty streets, that a little boy named Ronaldo was born on March 21st, 1980. His father, João Moreira, worked at a shipyard. His mother, Miguelina, was a nurse who believed education was just as important as football. But in Brazil, football wasn't just a game. It was a way out. From the age of 5, Ronaldinho's feet seemed possessed. He didn't just play, he created. Neighbors gathered around to watch him juggle bottles, dribble through rocks, and score goals between two sandals used as goalposts. His older brother, Roberto Assis, was already a rising footballer at Grêmio, and for little Ronaldinho, watching his brother play under the stadium lights of Porto Alegre was like watching a god. One night, when he was only 8, he told his mother, "Mãe, one day they'll sing my name too," and one day they did. Chapter 2. The Gift No One Could Teach. At 13, Ronaldinho was already a local legend. There was something about the way he moved, the freedom, the unpredictability, the joy. He didn't train like others. He didn't obsess over drills. He just played. When he scored all 23 goals in a single 23-0 youth match, newspapers began talking about the boy who smiled while destroying defenses. By 17, he made his professional debut for Grêmio, and instantly fans saw what was coming. The way he toyed with defenders, he wasn't being disrespectful. He was expressing art. His coach once said, "You cannot teach what he does. It comes from somewhere else, from joy, from God." And it wasn't long before Europe came calling. Chapter 3. Paris. The arrival of joy in 2001, Ronaldinho joined Paris Saint-Germain. A new continent, new culture, but the same smile. He was unstoppable. Rainbow flicks, nutmegs, no-look passes. Football had never looked so alive. Crowds came just to watch him train. Even his teammates, some of the best in Europe, were left shaking their heads in disbelief. But there was also chaos. Ronaldinho's nightlife in Paris became tabloid gold. Late nights, club visits, missed training, and friction with coach Luis Fernandes. Still, when he stepped on the pitch, none of it mattered. He was joy incarnate. Then came 2002, the World Cup in Korea and Japan. Chapter 4. The Free Kick That Stunned the World. The Brazilian squad of 2002 was loaded. Ronaldo, Rivaldo, Cafu, Roberto Carlos, and a 22-year-old magician named Ronaldinho. In the quarter-final against England, with the score tied 1-1, Ronaldinho stood over a free kick. Everyone expected a cross. He smiled. then curved the ball so perfectly that it flew over David Seaman's head and dropped into the net. Brazil went on to win the match, and eventually the World Cup. Ronaldinho became a hero overnight. His smile, his flair, his magic, it was contagious. After that summer, the world wanted to see more, and soon the call came from a club that would define his legacy. Chapter 5. The Barcelona Revolution. In 2003, FC Barcelona was broken. Poor results, fan anger, and a fading identity. They needed hope. That hope came wearing an oversized grin and a headband. When Ronaldinho arrived, everything changed. Camp Nou filled again. Joy returned. From his debut goal against Sevilla, where he picked the ball near halfway, sprinted, dribbled past defenders, and smashed it off the crossbar into the net. Fans knew the magician had arrived. He didn't just play football. He performed it. The era of magic between 2003 and 2006. Ronaldinho didn't just dominate, he redefined football. He humiliated defenders with elastico dribbles, heel flicks, no-look passes. He smiled while defenders kicked him. He hugged them after fouls. Stadiums that hated Barcelona stood up to applaud him, like the famous night at the Santiago Bernabeu, where even Real Madrid fans clapped for his brilliance. That night, he destroyed Madrid single-handedly. 2 goals, countless humiliations, and 1 ovation from the enemy crowd. It wasn't arrogance. It was artistry. He won the Ballon d'Or in 2005, the FIFA World Player of the Year twice, and the Champions League in 2006. But the higher the star rises, the greater the fall. Chapter 6. The false success came fast. Fame came faster, and with fame came the distractions, parties, nightclubs, missed training sessions. The smile remained, but it started to hide something darker. Ronaldinho's discipline slipped. Pep Guardiola, then a young coach watching from the sidelines, later said, "Ronaldinho could have been the best in history for 10 years. But joy sometimes blinds focus." By 2008, Barcelona moved on, building a new team around a quiet teenager from Argentina. His name was Lionel Messi. Ronaldinho left quietly. No grand farewell, no final ovation. Just a soft exit from the club he had resurrected. He had given the world joy. And now, he needed to find it again. Chapter 7. AC Milan and the shadow years at AC Milan. Ronaldinho showed flashes of brilliance, the tricks, the laughter, the magic, but not the same fire. He was slower, heavier, and surrounded by expectations he no longer cared to chase. He played more for fun than trophies. The smile returned, but the world had moved on. New stars had arrived. Still, every once in a while, he'd remind everyone of who he was. A flick, a lob, a pass no one else could imagine, the genius never left. It just refused to conform. Chapter 8. Homecoming, Brazil's forgotten heroine. 2011, Ronaldinho returned to Brazil to play for Flamengo, then Atlético Mineiro. The crowds went insane. For them, he wasn't a fallen star. He was still the boy who made football sing. And there, in his home country, something special happened. In 2013, he led Atlético Mineiro to their first-ever Copa Libertadores title. When he lifted the trophy, tears filled his eyes. He wasn't the fittest or fastest, but he had found something he had lost: peace. He had made football smile again. Chapter 9. Beyond the Game. after retiring. Ronaldinho became a global ambassador of joy. He traveled, smiled, danced, taught kids, and reminded the world that football is more than trophies. It's about feeling alive. He said in one interview, "When you play with happiness, the ball obeys you, but life threw more tests." In 2020, he was arrested in Paraguay over a passport issue, a fall from grace that shocked the world. Still, even in a cell, he smiled. He played football with inmates. He joked with guards. He never let the world take away his joy. Chapter 10. The Legend Lives. Ronaldinho is now in his 40s, no longer running down wings or dazzling defenders, but his spirit still dances across every football field in the world. Every time a kid performs a step over, a nutmeg, or smiles after a goal, that's Ronaldinho living again. He showed that football isn't about anger or rivalry. It's about joy. It's about making people forget their problems, even if just for 90 minutes. His legacy isn't measured in numbers. It's measured in smiles, and maybe that's what makes him eternal. Because when others chased greatness, Ronaldinho simply chased happiness. Epilogue. The smile that never faded. He once said, "I play for the same reason I started as a child, to have fun." In a world where football became business, Ronaldinho remained the soul of the game. He was the artist in a world of athletes, the dreamer in a world of professionals, the smile in a world of seriousness. And that's why, even after the trophies fade, even after the spotlight moves on, we'll always remember him as the man who made football smile again. The return of joy. Ronaldinho's legacy lives forever. The world of football changes fast. Stars rise, burn brightly, and fade. But Ronaldinho's light, that pure, golden joy, refuses to go out. By the late 2010s, the world had changed. Football had become faster, colder, and more mechanical. The sport was now about tactics, analytics, and pressing systems. But every time a young player smiled after scoring, every time a fan danced in the stands, every time a child tried a no-look pass in the backyard, there was still a bit of Ronaldinho in the air. He had left the field, yes, but his spirit never retired. A legend without borders. After leaving the professional game, Ronaldinho became a global ambassador for football. Everywhere he went, from India to Morocco, from Paris to Tokyo, stadiums erupted in chants of "Ronaldinho." He didn't need to play. His presence alone made people happy. He visited football academies and small communities, reminding children that football wasn't just about winning, it was about expression.